Hello, guys, and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. And this is our Premier League predictions week 2. So, guys, first things first, we have to bring up the scores on the doors from last week. And yeah, I think it's fair to say that me and Scott both had a horrendous week. 1 point for the correct result, 3 points for the correct scoreline. And yeah, I mean, 6-4, it's not great. I gave it such the big one last week as well. It's not great. However, this is redemption week. And let's waste no more time. Let's jump into it. And the first game is Forest versus Sheffield United. Forest are at home. And I will say, I'm going to give you all of Scott's predictions as well because he's not here. Another vacation. He has them every month. I'm sick of him. But anyway, Scott did say 2-0 to the home side. A little bit different to me. I said 1-1. I think Forest did okay last week. Well, maybe more than okay. A lot of people predicted them to get pumped at the Emirates. Wasn't a good visit for them there last year. I do remember that. However, yeah, 2-1 result against Arsenal. It's not the worst thing in the world. Goal difference could be crucial come the end of the season. I said 1-1. Although I do think Forest have had a decent window in the fact that they haven't gone out and brought 10, 15 players. I think Steve Cooper, slowly but surely, is now starting to see his best team. The likes of Gibbs White, Brennan Johnson, of course, there are others. But I think he's going to get better and better with this team. But I don't know what, I fancy Sheffield United to get something this week. They only lost 1-0 last week to a decent Palace team. So I've gone for a draw. I've gone 1-1. Scott has gone 2-0 Forest. Next up, we have got Fulham versus Brentford. And this is going to be interesting. Fulham, of course, going away to Goodison Park last week. First game of the season. Not easy, even though Everton have been fighting relegation the last 2 or 3 seasons. To go there, first game of the season, the Evertonians are going to be up for it. To come away with a win, I think is a very good result. And of course, speaking of good results for Brentford, 2-2 last week against Spurs. Yes, Spurs aren't the team of the last 10, 15 years, but they're still a pretty good side. They've still got Kulusevski, they've still got Son, they've still got Maddison, they've got some good players there. So for Brentford, without Ivan Toney, of course, I think they had a good account of themselves. Now, Scott, what did Scott put? Scott put 2-2 in this fixture. He thinks there's going to be games. He thinks 2-2 for 2 weeks in a row for Brentford. I don't. I think Fulham are going to get the result. I think the signing of Adama is astute. Jimenez, of course, Mitrovic is still there. Hasn't, well, at the time of recording this, he hasn't left. They've got some good players for them. I think they'll just about get the job done. Scott said 2-2. I said 2-1 to the home side. Next up is Liverpool versus Bournemouth, and a decent result for Liverpool. Yes, this isn't the Chelsea team of old. However, Stamford Bridge away, first game of the season. Klopp doesn't really have a midfield that I'm sure he wants to start the season with, but to get a point, I think, is a good result. Now, for Bournemouth, I mean, what can you say about Bournemouth? I think they're going to struggle this season. I really, really do. Yes, it was a good result against West Ham. They were at home, 1-1, went 1-0 down to that Bowen goal. However, I think they're going to struggle. But Scott thinks this week they're going to get smashed. He said 3-0 to Liverpool. And what did I say? I said 4-0. I just think they're going to be too good. I mean, the front line for Liverpool is unreal. So I've gone 4-0 to Liverpool. Scott has gone 3-0. Next up, sadly, this game had to be postponed. We all know why. Luton are just not quite ready yet. How long is it going to take? Next up is my team, Wolverhampton Wanderers, playing Brighton, a team that battered us last season 6-0 at home. Wolves were away. Different team this season, different dynamic. What we saw from Wolves on Monday night is something, it's not short of miraculous. That sounds crazy, losing 1-0. We bossed United. And the more, well, I mean, if United play anywhere near that for this season, they're going to finish in sixth, maybe seventh. They were abysmal. They need to sign another midfielder to help Casemiro. Wolves, 24 shots on goal, I think it was, the most since 2005 for United. It's just absolutely incredible performance, but we didn't get the points. However, speaking of a team that did get the point, I mean, Brighton. You never know what you're going to get from a promoted team first game of the season, even though it is Luton. But it was just a clinic, wasn't it? I mean, 4-1, just unbelievable. We all probably thought, would they suffer a little bit after last season? They've been riding high for so long now. Will Europe hurt them? But I know it's only Luton, but still 4-1. It's just an absolute statement, isn't it? Scott's gone 2-1 to Brighton. I've actually gone 2-1 Wolves. I might be being a bit, premature here, but I just think that performance on Monday was so good. And listen, Brighton may be a better team than United. I mean, let's be completely honest. But I saw something on Monday from a Wolves team that I haven't seen for a long time. Surely we are going to be able to bury our chances sooner or later. And I think it could be this weekend. Scott's gone 2-1 to Brighton. I've gone 2-1 to Wolves. Next up is Spurs versus United. Of course, we've just spoken about United. They were awful on Monday. Corruption. Corruption. For United, they're going to struggle. I really think they're going to struggle. I think they're going to lose this game. I really do. I don't know why. I think I saw a better performance from Spurs against Brentford than I did from United against Wolves. Spurs being the home side. I've actually gone for a 2-1 home win. Scott has gone for a 2-1 away win. So very different opinions compared to last week. Next up is Man City versus Newcastle. And I mean, both of these teams had a unbelievable opening weekend. I mean, not great for Man City in respect to De Bruyne, who's going to be out for a long time. However, they got the job done. Friday night, away to a promoted team. It's not the first fixture you want, even if you have just won the treble. If you ask Man City, if you ask Pep, if you ask the players, if you ask their fans, do you want to go to Turf Moor on a Friday night, first game of the season? I think they would have taken a lot more fixtures before that one. However, they got the job done. And I mean, speaking of the job done, Newcastle, this was, on paper, arguably the game of the weekend, apart from Chelsea versus Liverpool. However, I mean, a bit like Brighton, again in Europe, are we going to see a bit of a downfall for them this season? They just look incredible. Isaac, Barnes, Guimaraes, Joe Linton, Trippier, Botman. I mean, they just look sensational. Villa absolutely struggled. This is going to be a tough one. Scott's gone for a convincing home win. He's gone 3-1 City. I don't know about that. I've actually gone 2-1 City. I think Newcastle are going to do okay in this game, but I think City are just going to get the spoils. 2-1 City for me, 3-1 for Scott. We just spoke about Villa, of course, humiliating defeat for them last week. But they do return to Villa Park and they are playing Everton. Of course, we spoke about Everton a little bit earlier in the video. They lost to Fulham 1-0 last week. And Everton are going to have the same problem as they've had in previous seasons, the same problem that my team Wolves have had in the last forever, scoring goals. If Calvert-Lewin gets another one of his 3-4 month injuries, I think they're gone this season. I really do believe they need DCL to play 30 league games this season. I really, really do. But for this fixture, I think Villa will be okay. I think they get the job done. Or do I? I don't know. Bad defeat last week. I might be changing my prediction already. Scott's gone for a 2-0 home win. I think I'm going to be different again. This is going to backfire so badly. In 5 weeks, I'm going to be about 15 points behind him. Yeah, Scott's gone for a 2-0 home win. I might go for a draw. If it comes off, I look like a genius. If it doesn't, you can't blame me. They conceded 5 goals last week. Do you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go Villa 1, Everton 1. Let's see if Everton can bounce back. Scott's gone 2-0 to the Villains. I'm saying 1-1. Next up is West Ham versus Chelsea. We've spoken about both of these teams. Chelsea, good result last week. Yes, you're at home, but Liverpool, a lot of changes at Stamford Bridge this season, a lot. And whether it's a Liverpool team that is firing on all cylinders or a Liverpool team that isn't quite themselves as they haven't been for the last 12, 18 months, you don't want to play a Liverpool first game of the season. And to come away with a draw, again, even though you are at home, it's not a bad result at the end of the day. For West Ham to let that lead slip last week, that would have hurt them. I really think that would have hurt them. And in the manner in which they did it as well. Can they bounce back? I don't think they can. I'm going for a 2-0 away win, 2-0 to Chelsea. And Scott echoes it almost. He's gone 3-1 to Chelsea. We both think the visitors leave with the 3 points. Next up is Palace versus Arsenal on a Monday night football. This is going to be a good game. Arsenal historically do not like going to Selhurst Park. Now, for Palace, good result last week, 1-0 victory. It was a good result, and they started the season and, how they wanted to. And Roy Hodgson, he just gets the job done. Yes, it was only Sheffield United, who every man and his dog has predicted to go down. But I think Palace could struggle this season. I really do. There's something I just think they've not been the most free-flowing team in terms of goals over the last 12, 18 months. I know Zaha didn't have the greatest season last season in terms of output, but losing him is big. They need a couple of their young players to step up. For Arsenal, great win last week. Yes, I know it was against Forest, who a lot of people, well, not a lot, quite a few people do think that they may go down this season. But it's still a good result. You just want to win that first game of the season. It just helps you get in the right direction. This is going to be tough. This is really going to be tough. Under the lights at Selhurst Park, it's just not a game that you want to be involved in. See, Scott's gone 3-0 Arsenal, and that is the Arsenal fan in Scott. I don't think it's going to be that convincing. I do think Arsenal will win, but 3-0, that's a statement victory. That really would. I think it would raise a few eyebrows. Yes, they were incredible last season and fell off at the end. But to go to Palace on a Monday night and win 3-0, not many teams in recent history have done that. That's a big ask. I'll go 3-1. I think Arsenal will score a goal, but I think Palace won't be bullied. I'm going to say 3-1 to Arsenal. Scott's going 3-0. Guys, I'm going to put the predictions on screen for you right now. So pause the video, of course, if you want to have a quick look at them. I desperately need a good week this week. And the problem is, Scott sent me all of his predictions because, again, he's on his 14th holiday of the year already. He sent me his predictions. And for a lot of them, I was looking at them thinking, yeah, I probably would have chose something like that. Yeah, I probably would have chose that scoreline as well. So I've had to be a little bit different just for the channel's integrity. However, it might work out in my favour. Guys, do me a favour, like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't. Lately, I think it's like 72% of you who watch our videos aren't subscribed. But you keep coming back to watch. So hit that subscribe button for us. We really would appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.